morning, Anaheim. That's what I'm talking about. I'm Tom Morton. I'm the city's executive director of the Convention, Sports, and Entertainment Department. I would like to officially welcome you to this very special day in Anaheim. Anaheim is known for doing big things, and today is no exception. Not only are we welcoming the Anaheim Convention Center's 7th major expansion, maintaining its prominence as the largest exhibition facility on the West Coast, we are also celebrating Anaheim's 50 years of success in the meetings and convention business. That alone deserves a round of applause. And to officially kick off today's ceremony, I would like to introduce Mayor Pro Tem James Vanderbilt.
Good morning. Thank you, Tom. On behalf of the City of Anaheim, it is my pleasure to welcome you all and to celebrate the 50 years of Anaheim Convention Center. We're actually on historic grounds. In the past 50 years, the Convention Center has hosted some pretty amazing people, including Martin Luther King Jr., Ronald Reagan when he was governor, and the rock legends Elvis Presley and the Beach Boys. If this makes you feel a little old, you're not alone. I was born in Anaheim at about the same time the Convention Center was first constructed. And for me, the Convention Center has a special meaning like I think it has to so many millions of people. So if you think about that process you have to go through when you have to establish a new account, and of course you first have to come up with a password, and it usually has to follow some convention, no pun intended, of capital letters, lowercase letters, special characters, etc., which are very forgettable. But usually there's an out, right? They ask you a number of questions that follow. Usually like your mother's maiden name, perhaps your first school you went to. And then there's some that might ask, for instance, where was the place you went for the first time you saw the circus? In my case, Anaheim Convention Center. The first place I went to a high school prom, Anaheim Convention Center. The first place I got a job offer after I was in college, the Anaheim Convention Center. So you can see, multiply this by hundreds of thousands of visitors, you have millions of passwords that all have their thanks to the Anaheim Convention Center. It's also important to recognize the addition of this new building, which starts today. My dad was in construction, so I have a close appreciation for all that went into this building. Some of the statistics that I've been told that have been involved in this include 13 million pounds of steel, 39,000 square feet of windows, and 275 miles of cable. Nearly 2,000 men and women helped to make this building happen. And it was mentioned earlier, as well as what I'd like to do now, is to thank all of them for their hard work in making that possible. So as we look back at the past 50 years of this convention, through the remarks of some of the speakers today, I also hope that we look forward to another 50 years. So thank you for joining us today, and thank you for making Anaheim a great city.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. So way back in the early 1960s, the City of Anaheim and a group of local business leaders thought it might be a good idea to continue to have visitors coming to the city outside of the summer months and holidays, when Disney was the tourism draw. The idea, with the backing of the Anaheim Union High School District, became a reality on July 12, 1967. It was that building a convention center would bring a new source of revenue, the business traveler's dollar, and that the addition of an arena, which is right here, would create a stop for touring concerts and family shows and a home for professional indoor sports in Anaheim instead of Los Angeles. To hear firsthand how that idea became a reality, I'd like to welcome Mr. Tom Lee Glar, the very first director and general manager of the Anaheim Convention Center and Anaheim Stadium.
As I look upon the great audience we have here today, I look back 50 years ago in this very same plot of ground where many people gathered together to inaugurate the Anaheim Convention Center. Something different for this area at that time. And my, how it has grown to magnificent new facilities that we honor also today. We hope that you will take participation in that tour of new primary exhibit space and meeting rooms for our customers. Tom Morton, a dear friend of mine for some time, asked that I speak with little past history of it other than just about the time we had the convention center program all ready to go, another gentleman walked into town and said, if you'll build a major league stadium, I'll bring my team there. And so did the owner of the California Angels. And we've seen some tremendous reserve from that organization. Again, the city of Anaheim built Anaheim Stadium. They own the parking lot. And it's another great example of what this city can and will do. We're so glad that we have a community here of people just like you who participate in their city to bring people to the area in the way of conventions and trade shows, which is the number one aspect of the original intent. It continues after joining one factor. The hang-up was, with the convention center that is, that 50 years ago, there had to be two organizations backing the bonds to pay for it. We entered into a brief contract with the Anaheim Union High School District. And I won't go into the details of it, but they had the first booking every year for their events. And from that time, there's been 6 additions to the original facility. Now that's what I call success, and that's what I call change. I think I've said enough. I'm happy to stick around and answer any questions you might have. We have new city council people. We have new city staff. We have all of you, and you look so young to me. All of you. The new world is about to be forthcoming, and you are it for the city of Anaheim. Thanks so much. I've really enjoyed being with you here today.
Right, Tom, thank you. The Visitors Bureau has also played a key role in the 50-year history of the meeting and convention business of Anaheim. And to speak to that history of that involvement is Charles Allers, former president and CEO of the Anaheim Orange County Visitor and Convention Bureau. Charles.
Thank you, Tom, and thank you, Tom. I don't know that Tom mentioned it, but he was the founder of the Anaheim Way, which is the dictate for this whole building forever, and God bless you for that. The Anaheim Way. All righty. You know, I haven't seen this expansion for quite a few months. I've been gone. I ran away from home, but that's okay. I came back. Make a long story short, I walked out of the Hilton last night to come over here to join the party, and the energy of this building is incredible. I mean, for those of you who have been around it for a while, it feels so strong, so powerful. It's just the greatest thing that's happened to the city of Anaheim and perhaps the greatest building in the country. You know, I'm pleased to be back here. I spent 27 years in that building, off and on, 27 years, without a window. Greg Smith and Tom Morton never gave me a window. This is what happens to you without sunlight. Take a good look, you don't like it. Glass is your friend. I don't even worry about sunscreen anymore, you know? But isn't this amazing? The Anaheim Convention Center is absolutely beautiful. Congratulations again for all those responsible. I want to say something about the City Council. They have the vision to keep Anaheim vibrant. They are friends of this project. God bless you for that. I mean, this wouldn't have happened without good leadership, and it starts right there in government. Thank you. I want to thank the city staff for the heavy lifting. You guys always do the heavy lifting. We dream it, you do it. Thank you for that. City staff is marvelous. And of course, the hotel community who pays for this kind of stuff, directly and indirectly. They step up and pay for projects like this, and thank them for that. You know, it suits them, it suits us, it makes the world go round. We've got a good community here, and everybody does its fair share. What we have is a truly world-class facility. You know, the center didn't always look like this. Tom alluded to that. It wasn't always this beautiful, but it was always well-run, and it was always functional. And that was because you had great leadership here. You had people like Lee Glar, who ran this building from the beginning. Greg Smith, my good friend Greg Smith. Good to see Greg here. It's great to see David Meek here, recently retired. You guys were the best. Greg is a buddy. I used to love to argue with Greg. You know, we'd work it out though. We get the building right, and you know, the booking's taken care of it. Terrific friend, great guy to work with. Tom Morton, who succeeded Greg. I mean, great people. Very lucky we've had the leadership of this town that we've had. Today we see the center as a culmination of 7 well-executed expansions, or as the city likes to say, betterment. I really don't like that word, but it's not a marketing term, betterment. It is better, but betterment's hard to sell. Think about that, guys. Expansion works a little bit better than betterment. You know, Tom kind of spun a story, Phil. He told a lot of stories. I think he's taken a lot of lines from a lot of us, but I'm going to kind of tell you another version and a quicker version, kind of what happened in the early days. Every story begins with Disney around here. You know, you can't help that. You know, the park was built in 1955. People came to experience Anaheim and the Disney phenomena, and it was a huge success from the get-go. Everybody, I remember coming here when I was 10 years old, you know, when the park recently opened, and it was a terrific experience. Families would do a pilgrimage then as they do now, and they would come and enjoy it. Well, motels, and I say motels, and a couple of hotels were built to accommodate this huge influx of people whenever school was out. And business was great, but as we got more development, the city became cyclical. You know, people who owned hotels had problems when school was in session and nobody was coming. You know, the hotels were running bad occupancy. It was not necessarily a great investment after we got built up. A saber. So, to make a long story shorter, the hotel community stepped up, recognized the need to level out the calendar, and they elected to tax themselves through hotel occupancy tax. This became the revenue stream that enabled the convention center to be built. So the hotel stepped up, executed their own tax, and enabled the building to get built. The building was wildly successful when it first opened. And if Bill Snyder, who kind of gets a lot of credit for what happened in the early days, were here, I wouldn't say this, but he's not here, so I will. It was easier then. The only other major convention center in the country, in the western United States, was Las Vegas. It also was built by Del Webb Construction, looked just like the Anaheim building. That's kind of why they look the same, built by the same guy, same flexibility. And there were only 2, you know, there were only 2 major buildings up until the early 80s in the West Coast, and one of them was Anaheim, the other one was Vegas. We had tremendous business for the city. And then all of a sudden competition started coming from Los Angeles, from San Francisco, from Seattle, eventually Portland, Oregon. Everybody had a convention center. And we had to kind of keep pace with the growing need of the industry. and we expanded the building a number of times. We expanded it in 1974, and we expanded again in 1982, and again in 1990, and again in 1993. And these were kind of cookie cutter expansions. They were simply more exhibit space, maybe a few more meeting rooms, or reshuffling of existing meeting space. You know, it wasn't really dramatic with the exception of raw space to accommodate the trade show and convention needs of the day, and it worked really well. I think the best way to describe the early betterments or expansions of the Anaheim Convention Center really fall to a guy by the name of Bob Lucas, who was the meeting planner for the National School Boards Association. We have some school board people here, and I kind of told the story earlier, but school boards was a great piece of business that came to Anaheim on a regular basis. And Lucas, who was a friend of Anaheim, described Anaheim's building as a hall on a wall, and a hall on a wall, and a hall on a wall. And that's exactly what it was. It was a tilt-up wall and a floor and a roof, and a tilt-up wall and a floor and a roof, and a few more meeting rooms. And that sufficed for a long time, all the way through about 1993. An interesting story about school boards, though. And this is relationship selling in the moxie of Anaheim. And whether it was done directly or indirectly, who cares? It was genius. Lucas's boss, the CEO of school boards or executive director, his name was Louis Zion. Probably 5 people here remember Louis Zion. Anyway, if you go up Catella, you'll see a street name, Zion. Okay, that was named after his family. Louis had some history with, I think, the Garden Grove School District, but he couldn't bear not to bring his meeting to Anaheim, which was huge. It was probably 7,000 or 8,000 peak rooms. He kept bringing it back to Anaheim because he was guilted into it, I think, because of that street sign. So if you want to book more business in the future and you don't want to hire salespeople, rename your streets. I think it works. Here's living proof. So moving forward, in betterments in 2000, or betterments in 2000 and 2013 and today, are much different than a hall on a wall and a hall on a wall. What they really are finishing pieces in a destination icon. And that's what this building is. This is a destination icon. It is just stunning. I can't imagine a more attractive, a more functional convention center than the one that we're in right now. And it's large. It's 1 million square feet of exhibit space. And that's the way real people measure buildings, by exhibit space. There's over 1 million square feet of exhibit space in this building. And there are only a few cities in the whole country that offer that kind of space. And that enables you to sustain the business that you have, attract new, bigger business, or to run multiple events. And that is going to speak well for the existence of this building for an awfully long time. When you think about convention centers, you think about size. Size does matter with buildings, okay? It's not a cliche, it's really true. And never forget, bigger is better, biggest is best. Let's say it together, bigger is better, bigger is best. That's exactly what we need. Congratulations to Anaheim for this amazing accomplishment and all the other great accomplishments the city's enjoyed over the years. It's a great city with a great history and, more importantly, a great future. Best of luck to the center staff for operating this building, to Airmart and to Smart City to help sell the building, and to the Bureau staff, Visit Anaheim's team, do a great job here. I can't imagine anything but a huge success. It's a magnificent project. Thank you.
You know, the ACC North is not just an expansion of a convention center, it's symbolic, really, of Anaheim. You know, we listened to the needs of the meetings industry, following the vision the leaders had before us, and finding solutions together to meet the needs of our clients and an industry and city coming together to fund the entire project without a burden on our local citizens. We thank our city leaders and their vision. We thank our industry and hotel partners for the creation of the Tourism Improvement District. Without that creation, this next betterment did not occur. And we thank the tourism leaders before us who created the product and the demand for Anaheim as a premier convention and meetings destination. I do want to recognize our Visit Anaheim Board of Directors and our Chairman, Bill O'Connell, and the rest of the Board of Directors for their support and leadership in bringing us to this point. If they could stand to be recognized, I'd just like to say thank you. I also want to personally thank Bill Snyder and Charles Allers for paving the way for Visit Anaheim and the success we're all enjoying. You know, Charles mentioned it was easier then, there wasn't that competition. There's a lot of competition now. but this city and the leaders have recognized the needs, and we're going to see that today. It's very exciting. I want to thank the City Council for approving the project, and also the Anaheim Chamber of Commerce and Todd Ament for their work behind the scenes many times to get the support to move this project forward. As you'll soon experience, the ACC North is spectacular. It really is. The design, the functionality, the first-class finishes show this not just an expansion, but it's a tribute to all those who have been a part of it. From the very first meeting we had looking at proposals, we had a defined budget, we had a defined land, and defined needs, and that need always was the winner as we discussed the project. We had to have that breakout space, we had to have the additional space, and this delivers on all those fronts. The Anaheim Convention Center has been a catalyst for business, for employment, for image, and this tradition will continue today. The ACC North will continue the tradition to help us to inspire and delight the imagination of visitors and citizens alike. Congratulations to Anaheim for the vision, the determination, and the can-do spirit that all make up the continuing Anaheim way. Thank you.
Thank you, Jay. Now I'd like to welcome the gentleman who oversaw the construction, but most importantly, the completion of ACC North, Rudy Amami, Public Works Director for the City of Anaheim.
Thank you, Tom. Welcome to another monumental day in the history of this great facility. This is our 7th expansion, 3rd that I've been fortunate enough to be a part of. And why do we do expansions? Or I love the word betterment, always making it better. It's because it's been a great success. It's been another great initiative of the City of Anaheim. We build, we expand because of the success we have. And that success hasn't just stopped here on this property. Look all around us. I actually wrote that when I forgot we were going to be between all buildings. But you look at the success of the Anaheim Resort, it is undeniable. Just to your right here, we've had 2 hotels open up within the last year. Just to your left, we have another hotel that has broken ground to build bigger and better. And of course, we have our partners across the street that are investing $1.5 billion to continue to grow this great crown jewel in the city of Anaheim. We're proud to see that grow, but of course, with success comes challenges. And since our former Public Works Director is here, she used to always say challenges are opportunities. So we have many opportunities here in looking at our future. Again, and it's an honor to be here with Mr. Tom Lee Glar. It's a legend that since my very first day I've heard about the Anaheim way, and you're always learning and coming up with your own way of embodying that Anaheim way. So for him to be here today, truly a special day. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Rudy. I think he said the second best department in the city. So finally, I'd like to welcome Rory DeJean, Senior Vice President of Turner Construction, and Todd Voth, Founder and Senior Principal of Populous Architects.
Thank you, Tom. As Turner gets to build many iconic buildings, to be able to add something this beautiful is really a pleasure for us. And is that a beautiful building or what? You've got the state-of-the-art of everything. It's an amazing facility. I just want to be very brief. I want to thank a few people from the Turner side, 3 individuals that were our leaders, Steve, Ryan, Mauricio, and their entire team. Give them a great round of applause, please. Also, our team members included Populous, ACO Mechanical, Pan Pacific Plumbing, and Rosendin Electrical. They were the keys to a successful project for us. If you came here in February of this year, you would have questioned how we were going to make this. We questioned it. We made a commitment to the city at that time that we would allow ourselves to do whatever we had to give you this facility on time, and you have your first events. We're very proud of having done that, and we couldn't have done it without the support of Rudy Bob Luciano, the city, thank you guys. It's been a great relationship. We really want to continue it. And for those of you who don't know it, the front corner is Bob Luciano's signature to this building. That's his design. He made it happen. It turned out beautiful, Bob. Thank you, guys.
Well, good morning. I'm the last one, so you can take a big, deep breath. So I'm glad to be here. What a pleasure it is to be here for the grand opening of the Anaheim Convention Center expansion. Populace has been delighted to be part of this vision, working with the city, with Tom Morton and his staff, with a number of others, including Jay Burris and Mindy Abel, and our partners at Turner Construction Company. You know, Populace has had a long-standing relationship with each one of these firms and individuals, and I can say today that this is an accomplishment that we did together, and it's really a wonderful thing, and I hope you enjoy it. We have been working with the city of Anaheim for probably close to 20 years, and you don't do that for 20 years without having a lot of friends along the way and making a lot of friends. So I know some others have acknowledged these people, but I want to quickly do the same. Greg Smith, thank you. David Meek, it's good to see you. Tanya Lasoya with her dad, so nice to see you again. Charles Allers, it's always a pleasure. It's hard to follow you as a speaker. And Natalie Meeks. Natalie, it's good to see you again as well. I remember early in the design process, Tom Morton said, okay guys, I have 3 goals. You have to meet these goals. He called it the 3-legged stool. He burned that into our minds, and every day when we got up, we said, we're going to do the 3-legged stool. And those were, take care of our customers, make sure they're accommodated as they grow. 2, help us attract new customers because we want to grow and we want just as good a customers as we have now. And 3, help us do multiple events so that they can host a number of things simultaneously. And so we took that to heart. And we told Tom at that point, we're going to deliver the most flexible convention center in North America. And I think in a year's time, after this has been operational for that long, we will all recognize that indeed we accomplished all those goals. This project has had some difficulties, like every project we work on. It's just part of the process. And years from now, no one will remember that. But what we're here to do today is to celebrate this wonderful accomplishment by a bunch of people with like-mindedness. So thank you. Thank you for the opportunity to be a part of this team. I hope you enjoy the building.
And when we're ready, we're going to do a countdown, and Tom Lee Glar is going to provide the countdown for us. As was said earlier, he absolutely is the father of the Anaheim way, and it's the guiding principle of not only this convention center, but a lot of what we do here in the city of Anaheim. So Tom is going to be the one to count us down and open up this facility.
2, 1.